Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chums channel. Today we have an interesting comparison and it's gonna be maybe a little bit of a loaded topic, but I want to know from you what you think about it. We're gonna compare a $55 US Sabers grab bag against a $500 US Vader's Volt lightsaber. This is a Mitsurugi 3K. So we have two sabers. They're both lightsabers in a very different spectrum in terms of pricing, quality and features and functionality. So let's compare each one to another. I know it's apples to pears, but it's more about what are you willing to spend and do you find it justified to buy a certain lightsaber for a certain price. So let's start with the Alta Sabers. So the Alta Sabers is a $55 grab bag. Now, it doesn't guarantee you that you're gonna get the same saber from an Alta Sabers grab bag, but the fair chance is that you will get either an Aeon like this or the Dominic's, and it's a very decent saber. So over the features, just a plastic latching switch, a 3-watt LED, so it's okay, and then a 4 AA battery pack, which is kind of loose in there. And I use for both sabers, just to illustrate, I use a Vader's Volt tin wall dual diffuse blades, just because, for the heck of it. So this is the Alta Sabers with a 3-watt LED. It's in amber. Now amber normally is not as bright as some of the other colors, but it just, that's what it got in the grab bag. It matches the gold colors pretty good, so I think that's a good match. It is powered by these 4 AA batteries, which I show you. Here we go. Just 4 of these batteries, nothing special. These batteries you can buy everywhere. Every convenience store has these batteries, so you don't have to scramble for a specific type of batteries. That's very easy actually. A few things about this lightsaber, a few pros and cons. Now, first of all, the price, $55 US, super cheap. For a lightsaber. It's functional in terms that it's a good two-hander. It has gripping positions, it has serrations, it has a choke point, multiple choke points actually. It has window emitters, so that's kind of cool if you're into that. It has a closed pommel because it's a stun saber, so you don't really need a sound vented pommel. And that's about it. Like form function wise, it's a fantastic saber for dueling, heavy dueling or spinning. Just a good saber, inexpensive, as I said, $55 US. If you go do a lot of heavy dueling or spinning, it have a tendency to get damaged. The saber will drop on the ground at times. The saber will get dings from other hilts that hitting each other. But then again, it's $55 US, which is a very nice price. Aesthetically wise, I think it's nothing looking like a lightsaber, but that's my personal opinion. I know some guys looking this and will not be agreeing with that, but this to me does not look like a lightsaber. This just looks like a flashlight with a resemblance of a lightsaber, and also like things like the clicking sound. It's just like a flashlight to me. The battery pack is so-so. It's not bringing enough juice to make the LED as bright as possible, and the duration of the batteries in this configuration is not as long. Despite this being a 3-watt LED, if it has like an 18615 battery in there, a 3.7 volt one, this setup would last a really long time, which is actually my preferred setup for a stun saber, to use that bigger battery instead of this 4 battery pack where the batteries have a tendency to fall out. Now, a few other things, like this is a very inexpensive lightsaber, so there's definitely trade-offs, guys. Some people will argue with me and say, oh, I never had that, but these battery packs have a very high tendency to break because this is very brittle black plastic, and there's 4 little batteries in there that are in the spring tension, and over time these battery packs just disintegrate. The wiring in there is also not superb, it's not fantastic, but then again, $55 US. The other end, we have a high-end Vader's Volt lightsaber. This costs $500 US. This is the starting price, $500 US. That's a massive difference. That's a massive difference. One lightsaber $500 US versus one lightsaber $55 US. So you can imagine you could buy a whole bunch of these ones compared to one of these ones. So what does it justify to buy a Vader's Vault lightsaber, or maybe not in your personal opinion? This saber can do all the things that the Alto Sabers can do, plus it can do a lot more. It has the Crystal Shard version 4.0 in here. That's the soundboard. It has a loudspeaker. It has the battery setup that I just mentioned that I prefer, the 18650 battery. That's a 3.7 volt battery. It has a Tricree LED, which Vader's Vault call Sun Crusher. In this case, it's a light blue, minty green color, which is comprised of one blue dye, one green dye. So together mixing for that light blue. On the Ultra Sabers, that's only one dye on that LED. So there's only one amber LED, one 3-watt LED dye. There's one light point on it. This one has 2 light points, so it's brighter. I can show you to you guys. Maybe not so good daytime, but in person, it's a little hard to see now because the daytime, the light is washing out the colors. It's hard to see, but a few differences. So this is just a single color and it does nothing. This one has flash and clash. So off the bat you get, under night circumstances, this LED will be brighter because you have 2 light sources instead of one. In that case it does guarantee a brighter LED. I always notice that. If you have that's maybe for another time RGB, but let's forget about that. It's going to be too complex. We'll just keep it about the price. So what else it got? As you hear, it has the soundboard, it has the swings, very sensitive, all kinds of effects. This soundboard has sound banks, so there's 6 of them, so I can have 6 different sound fonts on there, so totally different sound experiences for this lightsaber. I can change the colors. For example, I can change it to mint green, blue, green, blue, white, and that's because this is a combination of 2 color LEDs, so one green, one blue, so I do some color mixing. That is allowed on this soundboard. The soundboard allows you to do a lot of things, a lot of customizations, and of course there's a huge difference in quality of the lightsaber and the design of it, like having a very intricate hilt design with a lot of different powder coating, different elements, different parts. It's just on a totally different level. Whereas the Ultra Sabers, of course, is a single piece. This is just one piece with one pommel and that's it. There's nothing to it. It has some serrations, it has some powder coating in this case, but that's it. So this saber, of course, also has all the features as I said. So when you have a lightsaber like this, you might just look at the price, say wow, $500, but when you have it, it's actually much closer to a real lightsaber, because you have the audio effects, you have the light effects, you have the flash on class effects, you can configure it. It has a much more intricate design, it's much smaller and much more, it's just a quality product. You feel that from start to finish. You can feel that from every point and direction. Now, of course, there are cheaper Vader's Vault lightsabers, so you can buy the same features and functionalities, starting price at $300 US. For example, the Vader's Vault Brawler, but those ones are currently sold out. So it's not like Vader's Vault have a starting price of $500. No, they actually start at $300. But this is just a hypothetical comparison between 2 random lightsabers. I can do it more often from 2 different lightsabers, one from this amount of price and one of that price. So you have a little bit of an idea what you get and how you can compare it and or not. But this lightsaber, going back to the Ultra Sabers, just is a bare minimum lightsaber. There's nothing to it. It rattles. Everything is loose in there. It doesn't even have a retention screw for the LED unit, so the LED unit moves in and it can even fall out. It's just a very, very basic lightsaber, but it has its strengths because it's good for dueling, it's good for spinning, and when you go dueling, you might do it from a sport perspective. So you see this as a tool. Although it's a lightsaber-ish, it's a tool. It's a tool to do dueling. Okay, it's there to duel. And if you go do trooping with your maybe 501st or the Rebel Legion or with your cosplay team, you might not really want to use this one unless your budget's just that's what you want to spend, or you just don't have the budget to buy an expensive lightsaber and you feel like this is good enough. Personally, for me, I would choose this at any time. The reason is it's this quality. It has a resale value. It can do all the same things as the Alta Sabers. The only thing is, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to go heavy dueling with a $500 US lightsaber? Are you willing to spin with this lightsaber, have a tendency to fall it on the ground? I don't have it. So for me, this is more shelf queen slash collectible slash wearable for cosplay, for example. That's it. So I limit myself, but that's also because I spent a lot of money on this, and $500 for me is a lot of money, for a lot of you guys as well. And some people watching, and they're like, $500 nothing for me. Okay, that can be. That's your financial situation. A lot of people don't share that situation, but it's good for you. I'm happy for you. If you want to sponsor me, check out my Patreon. But anyway. There's a massive difference, okay? And for some people, they don't see the reason why they would spend that amount of money on lightsabers. So I think it's also a combination of how deep are you into the hobby of custom lightsabers? How deep are you willing to go to the rabbit hole of like collecting lightsabers? It doesn't mean if you spend $500 you are more of a real Star Wars lightsaber collector. No, that's not the case. It's all personal preferences. For me, I feel $500 well spent on this lightsaber from Vader's Vault. It has everything and way beyond my expectations. This is a lightsaber. When I put this on,
it's a Ruby 3K.
This is a lightsaber. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a lightsaber. This is absolutely a lightsaber from start to finish. This could be out of a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars cartoon series. That's a lightsaber. This to me is a fun toy. This is a fun toy. Give it to your little kids. Give it to your nephew, nieces, friends. Now, you don't know how they're gonna treat the lightsaber. Maybe they drop it on the ground. You don't want to give your expensive lightsabers. Oh, here you go. Let's go play dueling. You have a couple of these around, $55 each. And they're tanks. They can take a lot of beating. These are sturdy lightsabers from Alta Sabers. The hilts are fantastic. The electronics, also not that bright, not fantastic. But I mean, it gives you the impression of a lightsaber, and people do see what it is, right? If you turn it on, people say, "Oh, that's a lightsaber," right? If you have it hanging on your belt with just a blade plug, it's like, what is that? Is that your vape? What is that? Is that a baton? It doesn't look like a lightsaber to me. But again, personal opinion. Maybe that's exactly what you like about Alta Sabers lightsabers. $55, just the simplicity of it. I don't know. So let me know in the comments what you think about this comparison. $55 for an Alta Sabers versus $500 of this Vader's Vault. Next time I can do a completely random other comparison of two other lightsabers. It's not about the brand. It's just what you can get within a certain price point, and if you think it's worth or not to spend that kind of money for that kind of lightsaber. And it also has to come down to applications and how you want to use the lightsaber, the purpose of it and whatnot. And it's all subjective. It's all subjective. But let me know in the comments what you think about it. What you want to spend on a lightsaber. Would you spend the $55 on Alta Sabers and buy a whole bunch of the $55 US ones, or you buy one Vader's Vault and basically prefer all the whistles and bells of that Vader's Vault lightsaber that comes with it? So let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.